What's good, everybody? Welcome into your very special Coach and Company PrizePicks Major League Baseball Preview. The Major League Baseball regular season is off and running. The Dodgers beating the Cubs 4-1 in Tokyo, and it counts. But there's so many fun ways. There's so many different ways that you can enjoy the baseball season. You can enjoy the big stars, and at PrizePicks, it doesn't get any better. So you guys know I'm bringing in my two guys from Prize Fights on Coach and Company every single Tuesday on Stadium at 10 a.m. Eastern time. How about Supi? How about young Payton? Now, Supi, real quick, this was you guys kind of got together on this idea. This could be a great way every single week to kind of hone in on players, on teams that have players that are playing really well, because PrizePicks, they're doing a lot of baseball too.
That's the great thing about PrizePicks is not only there's just so many props out there that PrizePicks gives you, and you put them in a lineup and you can get up to $1,000 multiplier. How about winning all that money just setting up a lineup? That's why PrizePicks works so well during any season.
And your number one nemesis, we call him King Lettuce. Young Payton, how fired up are you for the baseball season?
I'm so fired up, Coach. I mean, it stinks that, this game counted today, but they're going to come back to LA and play the Angels, and it's not going to count. But, just PrizePicks also just couldn't be any simpler. And we've already seen Shohei Ohtani hit his more than 1.5 total bases, which was the most popular prop of the year last year. So already starting off right where we left off last season.
Yeah, Shohei, we'll talk about him in a second. Batting leadoff for the Dodgers with Mookie Betts out of the lineup. Lost 15 pounds with a recent illness. Didn't stop the Dodgers, the reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champions. So, guys, let's get into some topics, and then we're going to do – I'm going to let you make a prop bet on these three topics, and then I said you can make three whatever you want. So let's start with the biggest name, Supi, coming out of the American League. The Yankees, they lost Juan Soto. Everybody's saying that they got worse after really laying down in the World Series to the Dodgers. What do you make of this season for Aaron Judge?
I think this is going to be a tough season. You had that protection of Soto and Stanton. And Stanton, he has multiple injuries. He's dealing with a calf injury. He's dealing with an elbow injury. Who knows how long he's going to be out. Same thing with DJ LeMahieu. Do I have confidence in Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt? Goldschmidt had a down year last year. Bellinger, a little better. I think he's going to do great in that Yankee Stadium with that lefty uppercut swing, always beneficial. But I think pitchers are not going to attack Judge like they did last year. I don't know how confident in those numbers. I don't think he's going to get to 50 home runs. That's why I'm going to take his multiple home runs. I think there's going to be times where the Yankees are down. Pitchers aren't going to be as aggressive against him. That's why I'm going more than 5.5 multiple home runs this year.
More than 5.5 multiple home run games, correct?
Yes.
Make sure I got that right.
Yes.
So he would have to have 6 games of going for two home runs or more.
Yeah, and he's one of 3 active players with 30 or more multiple home run games. It's just him, Shohei, and Manny Machado.
How much fun is that? And we say all the time, sports betting, it should be fun. It shouldn't be like hardcore all the time. And young Payton, let me come over to you, because baseball's the one sport that if you lose the guy behind you, if you lose your protection, then it severely affects your production. Your thoughts on Aaron Judge?
Without question, Coach. I think Cody Bellinger is going to have a huge year for the Yankees, just because I think he's going to see a lot better pitches, because they don't need to throw to Judge right now when you have Soto not there anymore. And that's my pick is going to be the Judge less than 118.5 RBIs this season. That's a lot. He did have 144 last season, but he had Soto on base. But he had and Gleyber Torres, and they were hitting in front of him. They had ducks on the pond a lot. But this year is a little different, as those offseason signings like Cody and Paul Goldschmidt will probably be hitting behind him in the order. So I target more of Cody Bellinger's RBIs rather than Judge. Not that I think Judge will have a bad year, but I don't think there's going to be many people on base for him to drive in. So I like the less than 118.5 RBIs.
It wasn't that long ago that 100 RBIs was considered a really, really good year. And now we're talking 118, 120 is the number. All right, let's move to the biggest name in the National League. He's a multi-time MVP, already has 2 hits in their very first game. He's beloved in Japan, and he's beloved in the United States. Of course, Supi, I'm talking about Shohei Ohtani. Your thoughts?
I think this is going to be another year where he has that MVP-like season. And even with Mookie Betts out, that leadoff spot, he's excelled in that. He's had a lot of experience. What I like for him, I love the RBIs because this is one of the best 1 through 9 lineups in the league. Everybody can get on base. And even if Ohtani is hitting leadoff, those 7, 8, 9 guys will get on the pond for him that he can drive them in. I love the more than 115 RBIs.
What about you, young Payton?
I think we're going to see tons of Shohei bombs this year, right where he left off today, right where he left off, 2 more hits. But I'm going to go with more than 3.5 multi-home run games. He slowed down his pitching rehab to prioritize hitting. Of course, we all want to see what he can do on the mound again, but I think we've been pretty entertained enough from seeing what he can do at the batter's box. 54 homers last year, 35 as the leadoff hitter, 19 hitting second in the lineup. He's going to hit leadoff this year. You can't pitch around him because of Mookie and Freddie immediately following him in the batting order. Freddie Freeman, who was ridiculous in the playoffs for the Dodgers. So I think Showtime easily has more than 3.5 multi-home runs this season.
I'm glad that you brought up the pitching because I think when you win the World Series title, it takes the pressure to want to get back and pitch way off the table for Shohei. All right, now I would say the number one guy when you're matching up entertainment and skill is the young pitcher who came out of LSU. He wins on and off the field and has for years. He throws over 100 miles an hour. He's got the best stash in the game. And I'm talking about Pittsburgh. I'm talking about Paul Skenes. Supi, your take.
The only thing I'm nervous about with Skenes is how many innings is he going to pitch? We're in this weird era in the MLB where we just want to limit starting pitching. That's why Rob Manfred wants to have sort of this mandatory 6 innings, 100 pitch type of thing. Yeah, because the essential long starter is kind of dead. That's why I don't trust any of those overall total numbers of innings pitched, strikeouts. That's why I'm going to go with the ERA because he's still dominant. He's one of the dominant pitchers in the league. I think this is going to be a Cy Young type year. I think he could have one of those rookie of the year, 2 Cy Young type of careers to start off. I'm taking the less than 2.95 ERA.
And I don't know if there's ever been a player for Pittsburgh, certainly since Barry Bonds. And you guys remember when Barry Bonds got to a point where he was going to make that just gazillions of dollars, they couldn't afford him. Pittsburgh Pirate fans, enjoy Paul Skenes for about 2 or 3 more years because he's going to sign for that $500-600 million. But right now, young Payton, we're worried about this year. Your take.
Yeah, and this is prime Paul Skenes too. I mean, last season he didn't pitch the entire year. This season he's healthy, he's ready to go. He only threw 133 innings last year. To put that in perspective, Tarek Skubal led the league in the MLB in strikeouts last year with 228, but he threw 192 innings. That's 59 more innings than Paul Skenes. If we get a Paul Skenes who throws the entire season like Skubal did for the Tigers, he's going to crush this number. That's why I'm going with more than 215.5 pitcher strikeouts.
All right, you're watching our PrizePicks Major League Baseball Preview special here at Coach and Company and BTT Studios. All right, so that's Judge, Ohtani, and Skenes. But there's a lot of other players and a lot of other plays out there at PrizePicks. So I told you guys you could pick 3 from any market, anything that you want. Supi, let's start with you.
I'm starting with Corbin Burnes. He's moved over to the National League West. He's got to face the Dodgers and the Padres, and that's the problem why I think he's going to go under or less than his strikeout total. Those are 2 of the best teams in strikeout percentage. He's going to face them multiple times this year. I think that's why he's going to go less than. Elly De La Cruz, one of the most electric players in the league, 67 stolen bases last year. That's crazy to think about in this era, not like 40 years ago when we were stealing 100 bases, but he is, to me, going to be that next guy to just become a star. And the way that Cincinnati plays, they're going to play a lot of small ball this year. So I think he's going to go over his steal prop. And then Luis Cereze, he is probably one of the most disciplined hitters in the league. He had 200 hits back-to-back seasons, 11.3% out of zone swings. That is the lowest percentage in the league, and he leads in squared up swing percentage. He gets the ball in play. He gets these hits. I'm going with another great hit season for Luis.
All right, those are three really, really good names. I like the fact that Corbin Burns has been around, but the others kind of on the rise. And sometimes sports books and places like PrizePicks, they can misprice and misnumber certain players. Supi, I think you found a couple of those misnumbers. All right, young Payton, I know you hate it. You despise it whenever I give Supi a compliment. Well, you just have to deal with it. So now I'm coming over to you. What are your three potpourri of best bets that you got to choose?
Well, my first one's Francisco Lindor, more than 89.5 RBIs. Going out and getting Juan Soto was the best thing possible for Francisco Lindor and other Mets too, like Mark Vientos and the Polar Bear, because now they're going to see even better pitches to hit. You got to pitch to somebody because you can't walk them all. The bottom of the Mets order really came through towards the end of the season last year just by getting on base. And what sent them to the postseason was that huge grand slam from Francisco Lindor, dropping them all in. And we're going to see a lot more of that in 2025. I'm also going with Cody Bellinger, more than 23.5 home runs this year with the short right field porch at Yankee Stadium, with the wind tunnel and Cody's swing. Man, I wish there was a demon pick on this season long projection right now, but I think Belly's going to have more than 30 belly bombs this year for the Yanks. They're going to have to pitch him with Judge hitting there and Goldschmidt, Jazz Chisholm. He's going to see pitches, so I love this number for Bellinger. And oh man, I put this one last on purpose because I'm going to go off on this guy for a minute. Mike Trout, more than 25.5 home runs. This is just, come on. If there is one guy in the game I wouldn't give up on, it's the 3-time MVP, 11-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger winner, Mike Trout. Yes, he's missed a ton of games the last 4 years, 382 out of a possible 648 to be exact. But he appears to be in great shape to start the season. He came into camp with just 9% body fat. He's made a couple of adjustments at the plate. He's hitting 304 this spring. They're going to play him in right field to try to keep him healthy. And thank you to MLB Network for putting Mike Trout at a ridiculous number 39 on your list of best players in baseball heading into 2025. Thank you so much for your joke of a list that somehow, some way, has 38 players ahead of Mike Trout when it comes to the best players in baseball, because he's going to be coming out firing. He's heading into his age 33 season. And the fact that he's only played more than 100 games once in the last 4 seasons means that his legs are fresh, he's healthy, and Mike Trout is out to prove he is still one of the best players in the game of baseball.
It must run in the family because, Supi, you probably don't realize this, but young Peyton's father, the great legendary Roger Lodge, has the #1 radio show in the LA area on ESPN Radio. It's called the Sports Lodge. I have my own. It's usually weekly. Whenever he wants to have star power, he brings me on. Every time he introduces Mike Trout, he says his middle name. Nobody loves Mike Trout more than that man's father right there. Take the love out of the play. Supi, can Mike Trout stay healthy enough to be able to get to this number at PrizePicks and go over it?
If he can stay healthy, he can. The problem is he hasn't stayed healthy. I'm hoping going to the corner outfield will help his legs stay fresh. I would hope that they not only go give him a corner outfield, but I hope he gets a lot of DH time. If you can mix that in, give him 155 games, I think he could get this number.
Man, when I look at what'd you say, 382, Supi, he's missed in the last, he's played like 25%, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. Does it not give you any pause at all that we're not talking about 1 or 2 years? We're talking about multiple years here.
Yeah, and the Angels went out and got Jorge Soler, a guy who hit over 30 bombs a couple years ago. So I when Supi mentions putting Trout in the DH spot, they can do that because he can play both corner outfield spots as well. So I like putting Soler in the outfield every now and then, and I think that you're going to see a little more flip-flopping back and forth between Trout and Soler DHing and going into the outfield. I think we're going to see that a little more than people think. So I'm excited for that.
Soler is a mountain of a man. Boy, is he an absolute beast. And here's the other thing, guys, as we bring this all to a close. Mike Trout is a surefire Hall of Famer. But when you're talking about guys like Aaron Judge and Shohei, they have World Series championships. Mike Trout could go through his entire career and not even come close. And I know that burns him inside, and he says, I'm committed to the Angels. Last year, he's like, I don't want to get traded. I don't want to play anybody else. It's awesome to play in Southern California, but he also wants a chip, and we'll see how much that affects him perhaps this year. Gentlemen, I would love to do this every week or every couple of weeks if you guys this is awesome. Are you guys cool with that?
I think that would be tremendous. Let's do this. Let's do this as often as possible.
All right. These guys are great. This is all about Prize Picks for Supi, for young Payton, producer man. What do we call this? Our Prize Picks exclusive? I think I like that. I am the coach for all of you who simply want more.